jump there. The green flag waves. Garg with a great start as they head down to turn 1. And Goldberg trying not to get swallowed up by the rest of the P3 field.
Yeah, is he going to make a move to the inside turn 1? No, he isn't. Joy Garg then he brought the field up to a pretty slow start there, but then jumped on the throttle and was able to get a bit of a jump over his championship rival, Dan Goldberg. Good start there. And also in the, whoops, there's a spinner there. That
Todd
is
Coleman.
the, yeah, Todd Coleman goes around in one of the 2 Archangel Motorsports Aston Martins.
See if we can see what happens here, Jeremy. Look for that green Aston Martin down low on the inside. He does it on his own.
He does, doesn't he? Just gone on the throttle a little bit too hard. His car's all around in there, but trying to tighten his line just a little bit. He's right up tight behind one of the Finn Barletta's Turner Motorsport car. I think he had to pinch the line because there's a car to his outside as well. The older car is able to run significantly lighter than the newer car. It's 70 kilos lighter, 1450 kilograms to the 1520 of the newer car. But, oops, there's an off-course excursion. Who was that?
It's Alex Kirby, but
yes.
It was odd. He was off pace down the back straightaway, like there's a problem with the car mechanically. And I'm going to give him credit. I think he looked in his mirrors and said, there's a gaggle of cars coming, and I don't want to be in their way through the roller coaster, so I'm just going to drop off to the outside here, let him go by, and then I'll re-enter. And now he enters the pit lane. So
taking his racing very seriously, he stepped away from the business he set up, just trade-centric. You can see it on the side of that car, but he's doing a good job there. That's his buddy there, Scott Blind, running off the road in car number 45. They were separated, Berman and Blind, by only 1/10 of a second in qualifying, but Scott's making life a little bit difficult for himself running off the road at turn 4.
News, Brian Till, Jeremy Shaw with you. This is round 9 of a 12-round season, and now Scott Blind with another problem. He had a problem just moments ago over in the turn 3-4 area, but now this is up through the snake, and that front grille, actually that would be the only grille you have on the car, right? Jeremy, the grille loaded with grass clippings, and that's going to be an issue. I would think temperature-wise, it is a warm day here, and Scott Blind may have to come to pit lane. Francis Seldorf, if he remains in the lead at the checkered flag, he earned this one, Jeremy.
Yeah, true. I mean, yeah, I think Leofouge could pass him if he really wanted to, but still, yeah, he is earning it because if he makes a mistake, then Gregory is going to get past him, no doubt about it. Yeah. For third place overall there, with Courtney Crone holding on off Brian Thenis. They're both working their way past a battle for the lead in GSX. And is that going to give Leofouge an opportunity to come alongside?
I didn't expect to see that out of Gregory Leofouge. I saw him go wide, and I thought he was just going to kind of once again fill the mirrors of Seldorf. I think he got out there in the gray where there was no grip. And there's the experience that a driver like Gregory Leofouge has. He gets out there in the gray and goes, oh my goodness, I've got no grip. Immediately straightens his hands and just drives straight off the racetrack and comes back on instead of trying to stay on the racetrack and potentially spinning the car, because if you spin it and lose control of it there, you're going to meet the tire wall.
Well, he's on the tail end of the lead lap, isn't he, Seldorf? So they're catching him slowly. Just looking at the lap times last time around, a 58.4 for Carrazzo, 57 for class leader.
The checkered flag waves at VIR for Bijoy Garg. He takes his 5th victory of the season. This one looked easy, but Jeremy, I've got to believe that the last lap was the most difficult one. With such a huge lead, easy to lose concentration. He did not, and speaking of remaining focused, Francis Seldorf remaining focused up front in GSX. The battle for 3rd in P3 continues. Courtney Crone still has it. Brian Thenis will get one more shot through Hogpen onto the front straightaway. Is he going to be able to get a draft down this long straight? Checkered flag is a good ways down, and speaking of getting a draft, Leofouge was looking for one. Courtney Crone is going to finish third. She takes the final step on the podium. She'll gain some points on Thenis in the championship. That's big there. This is big. Sebastian Carrazzo is the first of this threesome through the roller coaster and hog pen. But the battle for the lead is what's right behind him. That is Francis Seldorf in the Turner Motorsport BMW. He has had Leofouge attached to his rear wing for more than half of this race. The checkered flag falls. The first win for Francis Seldorf in his professional career here in the VP Racing SportsCar Challenge. He takes it at VIR, and the pressure was relentless. Pin onto the front straightaway, getting lined up for the start. It's interesting. It's Ligier's on the two inside spots, first and second row, and Duquesne chassis outside. Ligier has seemed to have been historically the chassis that gets up to speed just a little bit quicker. Jeremy side by side down into turn one. Garg with a good jump, and Brian Thenis into second place. And Dan Goldberg's going to slip all the way back to fourth.
Yeah, he is. That was a great start by Brian Thenis now. And initially, it was a great jump by Dan Goldberg, but a brilliant move there by Brian Thenis to get through into second position briefly. And that's bad news for Dan, who got shuffled back behind Alex Kirby as well, who's also made a good start there. So Dan Goldberg probably made too good of an initial start. I was on the outside line heading into turn one, and that allowed an opportunity for Brian to look down the inside, which he did. We're all reckoning that Sebastian Carrazzo is not carrying quite that speed with roller coaster there, so it gives him a bit of a help. Whoops.
Somebody's off and upside down. I saw the car go over in the dust cloud. It's the 69. It's Todd Coleman in his Aston Martin.
Yikes.
That car came to rest on its roof, and I believe, is that at turn 14, Jeremy?
He's had a challenging weekend, unfortunately. There's a whoops.
Yep, yeah. There was the BMW of Vin Barletta. They're kind of side by side coming into the brake zone, and that one shot quickly, it's kind of hard to judge who was where and when. I'm not going to make a call on fault on this one, but it's the end result that really matters. Coleman off backwards through the gravel and the sand, and then makes contact with that wall, and that wall has been extended. There's Todd. Great to see him out of the car. He's getting his gloves off, getting his helmets off. Kirby has had some good runs this year, but some problems as well. Garg pulls out about 3 to 4 car lengths as they head down to turn one. Then a slight gap back to Brian Thenis.
Yeah, and well before Hog Pen, the final corner there, Joy Garg, he was out of here. He wasn't going to wait around for that green flag to come out. He was gone as soon as he possibly could. He saw the safety car was well clear of him, get on the throttle, get out of here. That's exactly what he's done, and a really good restart there for Joy Garg. Too much forceful driving in this race for my liking, and certainly caused a problem apparently now for Patrick Wilmot.
Wilmot does indeed have a problem. He is slowing. Damage done to that 88 BMW, I would believe, in that off-course excursion. And one of the things that Todd Snyder, the race director, told me before this weekend is they're going to issue some time penalties as well as just a drive-through. Here it is again, Jeremy, side by side through 4. And yeah, and you're right, Carrazzo just goes straight to the apex. The problem is there's a BMW there.
Yeah, that's you got to be respectful, and Sebastian Carrazzo, in my opinion, wasn't. I mean, Wilmot left him plenty of room around the outside there.
And I don't think Tim Probert knew that Dan Goldberg was there, and in the mix is Brian Thenis as well. And for Goldberg, he almost went for a ride big time headed into South Bend.
I think he kind of made that pass, hasn't he? Then got bottled in a bit, so Brian Thenis was able to get back past
him. He's there.
Courtney Crone right with those two. And Jonathan Woolridge is not out of the picture either. Well, there's a bold move from Dan Goldberg.
I saw it coming. Dan Goldberg opened the door, and Courtney Crone took the bait. Brian Thenis slid up high, and Courtney said, I'm going to go with him. And you could see it from out here that it wasn't going to work from the cockpit. I'm sure it looked completely different. On the turn 14, forceful move by Goldberg, gets it done, and
Courtney Crone she wasn't even close enough there. That was again another lapse of judgment, unfortunately, because there was no way she was going to get past Brian Thenis into that corner without there being some sort of a contact. And They've had a couple of coming together already this season. They're not the best of buddies. Both of them, again, along with Alex Kirby, all from Southern California.
Time running out. He's got an opportunity potentially. It depends on what Garg does. Difficult to get it done here. South Bend to Oak Tree. He's not close enough. Lost a little time there coming through turn 10.
And now the checkered flag is being shown to drivers at the back end of the field. So I think this race is going to be called already. Oddly, Courtney Crone has just been shown the checkered flag, according to my scoring anyhow, in 6th position. So I think, I'm not sure, there's a little bit of confusion here whether the race has finished or not.
It must have been that close that they didn't show the flag, Jeremy, to make sure that they weren't throwing it early. Time had expired by the time Garg got to the line, it seems. And so the race, in theory, is over as the checkered flag has been displayed to all cars. Not all cars have seen it, but on timing and scoring, it is being shown as the race being done.
It is now, so that's a bit of an anticlimax. I thought it was going to be close as they were coming down the roller coaster, to be honest. And it was really, though, I mean, the confusion there was the fact that VIRginia Garg had quite a bit of traffic on those last 2 laps. If he'd been continuing his regular pace, it should have been no problem at all. But both of those last 2 laps, laps 20 and 21, he had some slower traffic to deal with. That cost him a fair bit of time, and that meant that the time elapsed just before he crossed the finish line. Whereas, you know, if he'd had a normal lap, he would have been by 2 or 3 seconds comfortably past that and taking the white flag. So a little bit of confusion, but I don't think it would alter the result at all. VIRginia Garg takes that win there, but a tremendous run there by Alex Kirby to put him under pressure in that Performance Tech Motorsports machine at the end. So 2nd place for Alex Kirby, his best in this championship. Dan Goldberg comes home in 3rd. Jonathan Woolridge right behind him in the other Performance Tech car, right at the checkered flag.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.